This is a video about how to use Windows Movie Maker. Now, there are several versions of Movie Maker available, and even on our computers at school, there are two different versions. So if I go to Start Programs, I'm going to notice that there's something called Movie Maker, but there's also something called Windows Movie Maker 2.6. The one we're going to want to use is Movie Maker. That is the newer one. It's also known as version 2012, or sometimes it's called Windows Live Movie Maker. That is definitely the more recent one, so that is the one I'm going to go ahead and launch. And when you do launch it, you get a window that looks like this. Now, before I make a new video, let me show you the files from a video that I've already completed. So over here, I'm going to open this folder called SBU Video, that's Stony Brook University Video. And when I open it up, I get a folder with some files in it. Now, this is what yours is going to look like eventually once you have all of your files and materials together. Now, it's important to note that you want to keep all the files together in a folder that you're using to create your video. I have a number of different files here. There are actually 5 different types of files. One of them is my finished video. So here's the actual finished video that I created, and I wrote the word final next to it, so I know that that's my finished one. And here, let me go through the other files that I have here. This is a piece of raw uncut footage that I downloaded from YouTube. This is some music that I want to play on the audio track. These are pictures. There are 8 or so pictures here that I'm going to use. If you want to see what they look like, if your name doesn't indicate what the picture is, you can come over here to this preview pane, and it gives you a little preview of the file that you click on. Okay, so these are some different pictures that I have. Let me turn that off. This is my project, or my editing project. This is where all the work is done in here. And most of the time you spend working in this project format, and it's only at the very end you create the final video. So while you're working, you're going to have a project in there, that's your editing project. You're going to have some still pictures probably. You're going to perhaps have an audio track, a music track. You could also have a narration track that you record. And you may have some video footage. So I'm going to combine all of these to make a new video. So let me go ahead and clear this out so I can start fresh with a new video. So I'll just delete these. Okay, so I'm going to start with an empty folder. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make an empty folder. And I'm making my video a short 2-minute video on Stony Brook University, so that's what I called it. And that's where I'm going to keep all of my files. So let's go back to Movie Maker. So first I'm going to go ahead and save this editing project into the folder. So I just come up here to save. And let me find my folder. And I'm going to call this project. It's a good idea to call your editing project so you know exactly what it is. Okay, so now I've saved it in here. So I've opened up this folder now. I've already got my project going on here. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and get some pictures from Google Images or another place on the website. I'm going to put those in here. So let me go ahead and do that. So here I am, I'm in Google Images, and I searched for Stony Brook University, and I found a picture that I like right here. But I'm not going to save it right from here, because this is actually a thumbnail view. I want the highest quality picture I can get. So I'm going to click once on it, and then I'm going to click again over here where it says View Image. And that will take me to an isolated image. This is the highest quality one you can get. And from here, I'm going to right-click, save the image. And I'm going to save it into my SBU folder. And I've already got several pictures in there. So we'll call this Pic 7. And I hit save. Okay, so now if I go back in my folder, I've got my project that I'm editing. And I've saved 7 pictures. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some video from YouTube that I will embed into my Stony Brook University video. So I'm at YouTube here, and I search for Stony Brook University basketball, and let's say I've previewed some of them, and here's the one I want. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm not going to use all of it, but I may use, 30 seconds or so from it. So I'm going to go ahead and download this one. Now, I also have a tab open called Keepvid.com. Keepvid is a website that allows you to download many YouTube videos. So I'm going to show you that process. So let's go back to YouTube. And here's the video that I like here. Okay, just going to pause it and scroll down a little bit to share. Now I could actually get the URL right here. I usually come down here. It's a shorter URL most of the time. And you can right click and copy the URL to this particular video. Again, you can get it up here as well. Once you've copied it, you go to Keepvid and you're going to go ahead and right click and paste the URL or the web address of the video that I like. Now, be careful with this website because there are a lot of ads on here. And it's tempting, for example, to want to click right here on these downloads. These are actually advertisements. They're going to take you to another page. Once you paste in your address, this is the button you want to click to download it. So I go ahead and click on that. And once I do that, it gives me some choices. Okay? It gives me some choices that some different formats that I can download on. This over here is an ad. Do not click on anything you see over here. Even if it says update your flash or something like that, just ignore these things. Okay, this is what you want. I'm going to go ahead and download the MP4. That's a little bit higher quality than, for example, this one, which is a flash, and you can see it's actually a little bit larger. So I'm going to download this MP4 version of my video. So I just go ahead and click on that. And when you use Chrome, it downloads to the lower left-hand corner. Okay, and it's in the process of downloading right now. And it's going to download to a folder called Downloads, and I'll show you where that is now. And before I go to that Downloads folder, which is where they usually end up, you can also come over here to this drop-down arrow and go Show in Folder, and it will open it up in the folder that it is, that's been saved to. So you can actually grab it from there if you want to as well. But I'm going to go ahead and go to this folder right here. It's got my name on it. It's not my network folder, but it's the folder with your name on in the upper left. If I go in there, there should be a folder called Downloads, and there is the video that I just downloaded using Keepvid. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and cut it, and I'm going to right click and paste it into my SBU video folder. Let's open it up. Okay, so now I've got my pictures, my project, and my raw footage. So the last thing I'm going to get is some music, and I'm going to get that straight from Miss Legilia's Moodle course. So if I come to her course and I scroll down to the March Madness topic section, right at the bottom of that you'll see a folder called Music for use with video. If I go ahead and open that up, I'm going to see dozens and dozens of songs in here. So I played a few of them and I found one I liked. I like this Backbeat number 4. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it once, and when you do that in Chrome, it downloads it right here in the lower left. Okay, you can see it downloading, and remember I can go to that Downloads folder to find it, or I can click this little drop down Show in Folder. Okay, and there it is. It's in the Downloads folder, and from here I'm going to right click and cut it. Let's go to my SBU folder and right click, paste. Okay, so now I've got everything I need in here to start assembling my movie. I've got my pictures, my editing project, my raw footage, and my music. I'm just going to go ahead and rename that. Right-click, rename. I'm going to call that video raw footage. And I'll right-click, rename this one, just so there's no confusion. Okay, my music. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start assembling my video. So I open up my project. I already have it open actually, so let's just bring it back up. And you'll notice there's different tabs up here. Okay, so we're going to start in the Home tab, and we're going to start by adding videos and photos. So I click on this, and now I have to navigate to that SBU folder. Okay, the one that's on the desktop over here. So I go to Desktop, and I find the folder. Let's bring the pictures in first. So I'll hold down the Shift key, click the last one, get all those, and open, and it brings it right into my timeline over here, like so. Now if I play it, it will go ahead and play, and it'll keep each one on there for about 7 seconds, which is probably too long. And there's no transitions or anything like that yet, but this is the start of my movie. Let me go ahead and pause that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the amount of time that each one of them is on here. So let's go ahead to the first one. I'll double click on it, and it brings me to the Video Tools tab, which isn't always there. So if I'm not working in video, you won't see this tab, but I am. I double click on it, it brings up my Video Tools tab, and I can see the default duration is 7 seconds, much too long. I'm going to go ahead to probably 3 or 4 seconds. We'll just go 3 seconds for now. And I'm going to do that for all of them. Okay, so I want this guy on there for 3 seconds as well. And I can probably select more than one, let's see. If I hold down my control key, I'll get all those. And now they should all be 3 seconds. Okay, if I click on them, I can see they're all in there for 3 seconds now. So if you hold down the control key, you can select multiple non-contiguous ones. If you click the first, hold down the shift key and click the last, it gets everything in between. Okay, either way works. So they're all 3 seconds. So now if I play it, you'll see they go much more quickly. 1, 2, 3, next one, etc. Okay, now transitions between them. So if you wanted to kind of fade in or do some sort of a transition, again, you're going to be in your Video Tools tab, and you're going to come over to the Animations tab. Okay, and this is how they're going to transition right here. So let's hit this drop down, and you have all different types of choices here. This one's kind of a pixelate, this is a crossfade, this is a dissolve. So you need to pick the one that you really like. I'll just do a simple crossfade, and I'm going to apply it to all of them. And the default is 1.5 seconds for the transition. You can make that more or less. I'll leave it on 1.5 seconds, and I'll hit apply to all, and you'll notice this triangle now shows me that there's a transition between them. So if I go ahead and play it now, you'll see it fades from one to the other, much nicer look. Now the other thing you can do with still pictures is you can give them some movement in or out to make them more interesting. So let's go to the first one. If you ever saw one of the Ken Burns movies like the Civil War, he uses a lot of still pictures because there was no video back then. But what he does is he uses movement with the still pictures to make them more interesting. So that's over here. So if I click on a picture, Video Tools, and I come over to Pan and Zoom, and you can choose various effects. Some of them, pan means moving side to side or up or down, and you can just hover over them and it shows you the different effects that you can get here. Okay, so these are pan only, zoom, and these are both. I'm going to use one of these. So let's say I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use a zoom out effect here, and let's go ahead and apply that to all just to make it more simple. So let's go ahead and try it now. So you can see that the pictures start, well actually that one is not. So let's go back here a little bit. Why didn't that one work? Let's shift click and get all of them. And let's, oops, actually I gotta come over here. Let's choose our effect here and we'll apply it to all. Okay, so now let's try it. Okay, so you see the movement as well as the transition between them. Makes it a little more interesting. Okay, so I've got 15 seconds worth of video. You can see over here, this is my total time. And I'm going to go ahead and add my video now. I'll put my video at the end here. Okay, so let's go back to my Home tab. I'm going to add video. And here's my raw video. Let's go ahead and put that in. Okay, now it may take a moment to render the video. Okay, when you put it in, you may have to wait a little bit before you can work on it. Let me see if it plays. Okay, it plays. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mute it. It has its own music, which I could leave, but I'm going to mute the sound on the video because I want to add my own music. So when I'm in anywhere in the video section, I can come up here to Video Tools again and come over here to Video Volume, and I'm going to bring the volume all the way down for the video. So now the video has no sound of its own. I'm going to supply the music. And I may want to transition into this as well. So let's go back to Video Tools, Animations, and we'll go ahead and do a crossfade. So now it's going to fade into my video as well. And these pictures got separated from the video. So 2 of them are at the end, 4 at the beginning. You can move them back if you can just slide them, put them wherever you want to. Let's say I want this one at the end. So now I'm going to have pictures, video, then pictures again. Okay, now my video is too long. I don't want all of this video. So let's go ahead and start playing it and see what I do want. Okay, so let me move ahead a little bit here. I want them actually playing basketball. Okay, so they're starting to play basketball here. So I'm going to trim it here. I don't want this first part. So I come back up to Video Tools again. I'm going to split the video. Okay, it's going to take a scissor and cut it right here. So I split the video, and now I'm going to click the first part and hit the delete button on my keyboard. I just got rid of the first part. So now it's going to go from this picture, let me play it, and it's going to go right into them playing basketball. All right, so let's say I want them to play for, this much from here to here, and now I want to split it again. So I hit split again, and now I'm going to get rid of the back section of it. And now I just have a small piece of video embedded between my my still pictures here, and I see I lost my transition here. So let me go ahead and add transitions again here. And let me see here. I'm just going to do my crossfade. I'm going to go ahead and apply that to all. So now it's transitioning into my video again. So now if I play it, I get some movement, I get transitions. I'm getting 3 seconds per still, and then it's going to get into my video. It's going to play that for a few minutes. When it gets to the end of the video, let's just move it ahead quickly. It's going to go back into my still shots again. Okay, so the video is starting to take shape. Now, let's suppose, I'm going to add the music last, but let's suppose I want to add some text in there. Okay, so the way to do that is to go back to my Home tab, and you're going to add a title. Okay, so if you click on that, it's going to insert this slide right here, which is just a black background and a place to put text here. So here I would put, let's see, the enrollment of Stony Brook is 25,000 students. Okay, and you can move this around. You can change the font on it. You can change the background color. You have all of those controls right here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that for now, and I'm going to transition into this also. So let's go back. I probably should have done my transitions actually at the end, because I have to keep going back and doing this. Okay, but now it's transitioning. So now let's go from this still picture and play it into my text. And then it's going to go back into a still again. Okay, now that's a little bit long, so let's come to this one and double click on it, and I can see the default is 7 seconds. Let's just change that to 3 or 4 seconds. I'll go 4 seconds. Let's try that. Okay, for a short text like that, I think 4 seconds will be fine. All right, so now I've got my pictures, I've got my video, I've got my text inserted here, and I can keep adding more of those titles wherever you want. You want to insert lots of text, that's up to you. And I've got transitions and I've got movement, okay, or animation. So the last thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a music soundtrack to this, to the video so far. So I make sure that I'm on the Home tab here, and I come over to Add Music and add music here. And then I go ahead and navigate, make sure I'm in that SBU folder. SBU video folder, and there it is. That's the music track, and it's the MP3 file that shows up. I hit open, and it puts it in there for me. So it extends it through my entire video. Now that's not the entire song. I only have a 45 second video here, and this is a couple of minutes long. So it just truncates it when it gets to the end. Now I can go ahead and play it at this point if I want to and see how it sounds. Okay, and it's playing. You may not be able to hear it, but the music is playing as it's going. But maybe I only want certain parts of the music. So let's suppose I fast forward and I want the music to actually start right here. I like that's, kind of a catchy part, and I want it to start here. So what I do is I click on my music track and I bring it to where I want, and I come up to Music Tools, and I go ahead and set the start point. That way the music will start at this point in the song. So let's set the start point. Okay, and it actually brings it back to the beginning. It actually starts at a different part of the track now, but it put it back at the beginning. So it cut off the first piece of it. Alrighty. So now if I play it, it sounds a little bit different. And the other thing I can do is I can fade it in or out. So if I click on my music track, Music Tools here, I can fade it in. I'll fade it in fast, so it's a quick fade in, and I'll fade it out fast as well. Here's your music volume. Okay, if you have narration, you may want to consider the the volume of your music track. I'll just keep it loud for now on this one. Okay, so now I can go ahead and play it. If I want to preview it full screen, I hit here. I hit escape, and I can pause it. Okay, so I can go ahead and look for it and edit it and see if everything is working right now. I can see right here that this may not work. So let me, my words, let me just play this slide right here. Okay, so I can see the text on this one actually extends into the next slide. So let's click on the text and text tools. And the text duration is 3 seconds, so let me just trim that to 2 seconds. And you can see now that the text line just shrunk a little bit. Okay, so it's not bleeding into the next. You can have the text bleed over into several different photos if you want to, but I want to keep it contained to the black background. Okay, so I save as I go. So let's suppose I have everything the way I want it. I previewed. I've got a 45-second video here. Everything looks good. So now I'm going to go ahead and save the movie. Okay, this is the last piece. So this is all editing here. Okay, if I save it here and I close it and I go back to it the next day, let's go back into the SBU folder. I go ahead and click on my project. Okay, my final movie has not been done yet. Okay, I'm still in editing form. So I double click, I open the project up again. It should pick up where I left off. But now I'm ready to actually make the movie. So once it's all edited, you're going to be in your home tab, and you're going to come over to the right here where it says Save Movie. Okay, click this, and you're probably just going to want to do recommended for this project. Okay, and that's going to give you certain settings for your movie that will probably work just fine. If you want to do for a computer, you could also do that. I'm just going to do recommended for the project. It's going to give me a 640 by 480, which is not a hugely high standard, but it'll be fine for our purposes. So I click recommended for this project, and I'm going to save this into that SBU folder. So I go back in there, but I'm going to call it my SBU video, and I'm going to write final. This way I won't get confused with what's what. And I hit save. It's going to go ahead and save the movie. It's going to save it into this SBU folder. Okay, and it's all finished. I could play it right here. I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to close my project, and here is my SBU folder. Okay, so now here it is. That is the final. Remember, that was my raw footage, and that's all of my support files. This final video actually doesn't need any of the support files anymore. Let me move it over here. Okay, it can stand on its own now, and this is the one you're going to submit for your project. So if you double click on it, it's going to open in Windows Media Player. You can maximize it, and it's going to play through. And that's it. So that is how you make your own movie using Windows Movie Maker.